So it's very simple question. Joy, which division is tougher? That AFC North with the Bengals, with the Steelers, that AFC East with the Bills, with the Dolphins? Which is tougher?
I don't even think this is a conversation. And I would put the AFC West above the AFC East before I even got to the AFC North, which I think is the toughest division in football. Top to bottom, that's why I say this. The top of the division may not be as high, but the bottom isn't as low. So let's just start with the coaches. You have 2 Super Bowl winning coaches in this division. The other coach has been to a Super Bowl and an AFC Championship game. The other coach is a former coach of the year 3-4 years ago. You have better quarterbacks, top to bottom. The worst quarterback in this division is Kenny Pickett. You think he's going to take a step up this year. I think he will also. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. Top to bottom, you have 2 of the best young quarterbacks, a former MVP. Joe Burrow just played in the Super Bowl, went back to AFC Championship game. Deshaun Watson is playing in this division. Don't even get me started on the defensive side of the ball for all of these teams. The running games for all of these teams. I just don't really know how you can argue. You have legacy-winning organizations. The bottom of the AFC East is too low for me to compare it to the AFC North.
That's well said. I think the AFC East is better, 2-5. I think the AFC East is better than the AFC North. But, again, it's very, very close. Splitting hairs, but we have the hairs to split, so let's split them. When I talk about the top teams, Bengals and the Bills, I think it's kind of a wash. The Bengals can beat the Bills.
Whoa. Based on what? Based on what? Where's Super Bowl?
You can't just throw that out there.
Where they go Super Bowl?
Based on the fact that the Bills were 13-4 last year.
When did
beat the
you
Bills
get
every
special
time?
banners for?
You don't at all. You also don't get special banners for losing in the Super Bowl.
Oh, you don't. But if you don't go to the Super Bowl, you can't win the Super Bowl.
Correct. But neither team has won a Super Bowl in the last.
But both teams did not go to a Super Bowl.
I agree with that. I think it's close.
In fact, the only team in that division that has gone to a Super Bowl in the last 10 years is the Patriots, and I know y'all about to say that's the worst team in the division.
No doubt about it. But again, for me, the Bengals, I do believe, are better than the Bills, but I do not think they are significantly better than the Bills. We didn't get to watch that game in the regular season, obviously. There was a tragedy on the field. And this postseason, we did see that game. Bills had home field advantage. Shout out to the Bengals for winning it.
Okay, but you just moved from Bills and Bengals being equal to Bengals being better than the Bills.
Sure. I just didn't feel like arguing any longer, in all honesty. When I moved to the second team, I think about the Ravens and the Dolphins. If we want to go off who won last year, the Dolphins beat the Ravens last year. Now, I think those teams are also fairly equal. But again, if we want to say who won last year, Dolphins beat the Ravens. Both teams went to the playoffs. Both teams lost. When I moved down to the third team, Shady, this is where it's interesting for me. Because I like the Jets more than I like the Steelers. I like the Jets more than I like the Browns. Personally. Like, that's where I'm at with it. Then when you get to the very last team, Steelers, Patriots, Browns, Patriots, same thing. Bill Belichick is a 500 coach without Tom Brady. He's going to go 25-25. Steelers, they're going to go 9-8. Like, Bill Belichick's going to go 9-8. He's going to go 8-9. I think the Steelers are going to go, I said yesterday, the Steelers might go 10-7 or 8-9 or 9.
So you think the Steelers and the Patriots are the same right now?
I think they both beat 9.
Yeah, they both. I think they could, if the Steelers can beat them and they can beat the Steelers. It's like they're in the same boat.
Same boat.
Or not. I mean, what makes the Steelers so much better than the Patriots? I mean, they're both in the same, trying to find their quarterback.
I don't think they're close. They have Kenny Pickett, who's an ascending quarterback. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. You think Mike Tomlin and Bill Belichick are on the same level right now?
What I'm saying is that, so if I told you that the Patriots beat the Steelers, you won't be surprised, right?
This year?
This year?
Yeah.
Heck no.
We never act like the Steelers is way better than the Patriots.
There's just no empirical data to support
like
that.
they're like getting themselves back together.
Okay, let's say they're the same.
Okay, but I think the Jets is the best point you made, because I do think that the Bills and the Bengals are close. I think the Bengals are better, right? And then you got the Ravens and then Dolphins. But then the third team, you talking about the Browns? Like, they looked awful last year though. And
Deshaun Watson, why they looked awful. They didn't have Deshaun Watson until week 12.
Well, I'm just saying, when we did see Deshaun Watson, which I think he was a great quarterback when he was playing, he looked bad.
He hadn't played football for 2 years.
I mean, whatever it is. Whatever the if game is, I don't really do the ifs.
The Jets is a total if.
I'm just saying.
The Jets is a fantasy.
From what I watched last year, no. The Jets, they add A-Rod with the team they already had. I like that team. Okay. The team that just had, they got. What do you mean? They got top defense and they got.
But how are you projecting for the Jets, but you're not projecting for the Browns? How are you
the Ravens?
Let me say it again. When I watched the Browns play with Deshaun Watson, what he looked like?
bad.
He didn't
He looked real bad. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm assuming
You don't
that
think he's going to be better this year?
But I'm
What
assuming.
did you watch from Aaron
I
Rodgers
hope.
last year?
What I'm
Aaron
talking
Rodgers didn't throw for over 300 yards last year.
I watched Aaron Rodgers with the Green Bay Packers
Aaron
last year.
Rodgers was-
He didn't look good.
He was nowhere like that.
He wasn't as bad as Deshaun, though.
Okay, I understood.
What do you mean?
But
That's-
still,
what you saying?
like,
So now what I'm saying is if I take the okay A-Rod from last year and I put him with these young receivers and the young defense they have over there, I like that matchup. I like that. I think they'll do well. Compared to the Browns have shown me nothing to be optimistic about going for this
let me
year.
throw this to the right side of the table.
Please do.
I can't believe we're defending the
Who was
Jets
the
like
better
this.
division last year?
Honestly, the AFC East.
The AFC North won more games.
When I think about the AFC East, AFC North sent the
Teams.
Yeah, teams. AFC East sent 2 teams to the playoffs. AFC North, I believe, sent 2 teams to the playoffs.
Did they get to the? Did they get to the? Which
championship game?
conference? Yeah, which division or?
We all went to the conference championship game.
Okay.
Bengals did.
Okay. So,
But
so
you gotta-
how
we're
are we
talking about-
saying
We're
the
talking
East
about
is
We're
better?
talking about the whole division.
Okay.
Right? So are we not going to count the Browns? We're not going to count the Steelers?
No, we can.
All right. So
Are we not going to count the Jets? Are we not going to count the Patriots?
I'm counting both of them. Like, I'm counting.
All I'm saying is that if I look at the Jets now with A-Rod and the players they do have there, like their young players with the Jets, they're not nowhere close to the Steelers young players. They're nowhere close to the Jets young players.
I'm not even if
Right?
you want to compare the Steelers and the Patriots, that's fine. Are you not
So
comparing the Browns and the Jets? We are totally projecting what the Jets are going to be based off the fact that the Jets have been bad for the last 12
Do you
years.
think the Browns will be better than the Jets this year? If so, significantly? Because this
I
is
could
real-
absolutely see the Browns being better than the
Do you
Jets.
think they will? Not could you see it? Do you think the Browns will be better than the Jets this year?
I won't say significantly, but I think that they will be, yeah.
You think the Browns will be better than the Jets this year?
I think they'll be in.
I think Deshaun Watson is better
more
right
confidence
now
in the
than
Jets.
Aaron Rodgers is right now.
But we're
What ground?
Why are we paying? Why did they pay him $230 million then?
What ground do you have to say that?
Say
on?
that Deshaun better.
What ground do you say
Aaron
that on?
Rodgers was bad last year, you guys.
No,
He was
Deshaun
not
was-
good. He
Deshaun
was
was
not good.
worse.
Well, Sean was way worse.
And the 2 years prior,
who do you-
Rodgers
who-
was
how do you
MVP.
have-
who is more likely to be better again this year?
I don't know, bro.
Aaron-
Deshaun went throwing slants last year.
Okay, but you know how good Deshaun can be.
Yes, I do. I gotta see that though. I gotta see that.
But why would
Well, I
why
need to
aren't you
see
making
Aaron
the same
getting
argument
back
for
to
Aaron
what he was.
Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers was nowhere near how bad Deshaun Watson was.
I
What are
get
you talking
that,
about?
but
It was
Deshaun
like,
is still.
Russell Wilson,
Deshaun is
Watson.
still
It was
ascending.
like that. It was like Russell Wilson bad, and then Deshaun Watson bad.
How old is Deshaun Watson?
Slick.
The
But he's in his
possibility that
20s.
he's going to
Let
get
me try
back
this,
to
let me try
being
this,
what he
let me try
was
this. Here's
is
the
far
thing.
greater.
Last year, Deshaun was worse than Rodgers.
Yes.
We
Understood.
Way worse. Say
No
that.
question.
The year before, Deshaun was worse than Rodgers because Rodgers was an MVP. The year before, Deshaun was worse than Rodgers because Rodgers was an MVP. So the last 3 years.
But we're not
Aaron
talking
Rodgers-
about Aaron Rodgers with the Packers.
You're talking
We're
about
talking about
last
Aaron
year.
Rodgers with the Jets.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But if Rodgers has quite literally been better than Deshaun every year, the last 3 years, why would we
Aaron
now
Rodgers-
assume?
This is, I don't want to hang all of this on Aaron Rodgers versus Deshaun as deciding which division is better.
Yeah, I don't want to
You
either.
guys are taking all of these. Look,
I said that.
There are
I
more.
just said that.
There are more question marks, and you brought one up earlier about Miami. There are more question marks about the AFC East teams and whether they're going to elevate. Because we have a question about, are the Bills going to be as good as they were a year ago? We don't have that question about the Bengals. The Ravens, we've been talking about, they've improved their wide receiving core, and they have a healthy Lamar Jackson.
The AFC East has more question marks. I will concede on that in totality. The only question mark for me with the North, the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun, what are they going to do? And the Baltimore Ravens with the new offensive coordinator and can Lamar Jackson stay healthy? Because we haven't seen that in the last 3 years, two specifically.
No
What will they do?
Steeler questions?
The Steelers are going to win 10 games. They're going to win 9 games. I don't have a question mark. They're going to be good. They're not going to be
They'll
great.
have a
They're not
winning
gonna be
record.
But you
bad.
don't
They'll have
know
a
what the
winning record.
Patriots are going to do.
Patriots are going to be the same as the Steelers. They're going to be good. They're not going to be bad. They're not going to be great. They're going to win 9 games.
Right.
I don't have question marks about the Patriots. They're 25-25. It's like having question marks about the Cowboys.
You know
with
who they
Jason
are.
Garrett. I know who they are. They're 8-8.
All right.
Like they're going to be 500. But I think the ceiling with the AFC East is higher than the
Oh,
ceiling.
the ceiling is literally higher for the teams in the AFC North over the last 2 years.
Here's why. I think the Jets' ceiling is higher because, like you said, we have Super Bowl aspirations for the Jets. I think the Dolphins' ceiling is ridiculously high because we've talked about that. I think the Bills' ceiling is ridiculously high. That's why I think the ceiling
What is
for the AFC
what is the
team-
ceiling for the Bengals?
Bengals' ceiling is high. Ravens' ceiling is high.
Bengals' ceiling is higher than the Bills because it has literally been higher than the Bills over the last 2
think
years.
the ceiling is higher for the Bengals and the Bills. I think the reality, I don't think
All
the
right.
ceiling is.
So I'm
but But like literally, the Bengals just went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago and then went back to the AFC Championship game.
Ceiling is how good are you capable of being?
Yeah.
You feel me? Like ceiling is
like the
ceiling.
max.
Like what's your max velocity?
And we were talking about
Right,
the
like
Bengals being Super Bowl or bust.
Yes,
So we think that they can go to the Super Bowl.
Same conversation I'd have with the Bills.
The Bills have not been to a Super Bowl yet, though. Like, we know the Bengals are capable of getting to the Super Bowl because they actually, in reality, in real life, went to a Super Bowl. And then the next year went back to an AFC Championship game.
But even if,
we're arguing that the Bills are going to take a step back this year.
if you're talking ceiling, though, right, I would say that we would all assume the Bengals and the Bills can reach the same high.
I would not, because I've seen the Bengals do it, and I don't know if the Bills will.
So you don't think the Bills can get to a Super Bowl this year?
I think they
they
could, but I'm not as confident in them doing so as I am the Bengals.
I think they can. I know the Bengals can because they did it.
I feel like there's a time continuum, something like split in between on this desk right here, because
We're in the upside down. We're like kind of
exactly. There's like Stranger Things. Like you guys are.
We go from arguing the division to now we're arguing this one team.
No. I'm just looking at let's throw. We'll throw out the Patriots.
It's the reason why every year, right, that y'all keep picking the Bills to go to the Super Bowl. Because they have that type of ceiling, that potential, right? Last year,
I'm not picking them this year, but
last year you didn't pick the Bengals.
I did.
Who'd you pick?
I picked the Bills.
Who'd you pick?
Bills.
And we were wrong.
Right.
So, but I'm saying that the capability, though, like the potential is just as high as the Bengals. That's what I'm saying.
But the Bengals have proved that they're capable of it. The Bills were still waiting to see that happen. We may have been wrong in expecting.
You can't use potential and prove in the same thing. They literally run counter.
Okay, so then we shouldn't talk about the potential at all for any of these teams. So we don't talk about the potential of the Browns.
Fair.
We don't talk about the potential of the Jets.
We don't talk about the Jets.
We know that the Patriots and Steelers are wash for whatever reason. I don't agree, but like let's just pretend that they're the same right now. Right? So they're off. And then we have the next layer, which is the Jets and the Browns, which are both projections, right? Potential. We don't know what Deshaun Watson's going to be. We don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to be. So we'll just take them off the table. So we could just focus on the Bills and the Bengals and the Ravens
and the Dolphins.
Oh.
The Ravens.
I'm still stuck on the Bills.
Are you going
on the Jets?
You're going to.
Because I take the A-Rod from last year and you put him with the talented players on the Jets, they do better.
I love this conversation.
They do better, but they're not.
All them drop balls that the Packers had, the Jets not dropping them. Garrett Wilson ain't dropping that in the basket. He gonna be celebrating in the end zone. I'm gonna say the truth. But you take the Deshaun Watson we did last year and you implement that this year.
Here's what
it's been bad.
Let me ask y'all this to close it out, though. What team do you have more confidence in putting 3 teams in the playoffs? Because to me, what division? To me,
the North.
To me, that's what decided it for me. Like, I have more confidence that the Dolphins, Bills, Jets will make the playoffs than I have confidence that the Browns, Ravens, Bengals, or that the Steelers, Ravens.
That's a good point.
I have significantly more confidence that the Dolphins, Jets, Bills will make the playoffs than I do the 3 teams in the AFC.
I don't.
Y'all think the Browns going to the playoffs this year?
If I had to pick between the Browns and the Jets, I would say the Browns, yeah.
We can bet that.
I'm not getting on that.
Because, like, what's your I'm not going to the playoffs? What?
The Jets have the longest drought in the league.
I just asked you what you think. What tells you that they're going to the playoffs? The Browns. What tells you that? That's all I asked.
I mean, I don't know. I don't. What do you mean? What? Deshaun Watson, their whole roster. They got a Coach of the Year. Salah's won 11 games in the league.
I just asked you about the Browns.
I will say this. Who do you?
All I asked is when you watch the Browns, like, what tells you they're going to the playoffs? You said Deshaun.
We're talking about the Jets, the New York Jets.
We're talking about the Browns. You said the Browns.
Oh my God. What about the Jets gives you that confidence other than Aaron Rodgers?
You said Deshaun Watson, which looked awful last year. That's what you said. And you said the Coach of the Year, 2 years ago? Stefanski, 2 years ago? He might be going next year. He might be going next year.
Won 11 games.
And then what else you said? We said the defense?
Oh, Heller, I
playmakers?
can't break this.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not going back and forth with the Jets and Browns. I just asked, when y'all watch the Browns, what makes y'all think they go to the playoffs? That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, you keep talking about last year.
All right, well,
we'll see.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.